of it. Of course, we are going through the technicalities, but then what is our, through these technicalities, through grammar, through spoken English, through teaching them to write, what are we aiming at? Basically, we are aiming at, through prose and poetry and the beauty of words, we are aiming to develop that human being in them, to make them feel, to make them mindful. That's basically what our job as English educators is. The problem is the concept of what our job is, critical thinking. Every subject teacher, ultimately, including English, of course. Yes, Shivani ma'am, you're right. We are teaching emotional quotient. Science teaches critical thinking, analyzing. We know Bloom's taxonomy. We are teaching them everything that every other subject is doing. What we are doing extra, and we need to accept this fact that this is why we are here. English teachers or language teachers for that matter, is first and foremost to make them humane, to make them feel the things that are there through our authors, through our poets, through our, art critics, writing critics, and even any kind of performance arts. This all are like that humane in a human being is awakened through any language. So that is what our role is. I am going to talk about how NCF has changed the equation a bit, what are the changes in the NCF and how it should impact your teaching as middle school teachers of English. I'll be sharing my screen. Give me a moment. Mr. Jitin, can you please allow me to share my screen? Or make me a host, please? Mr. Jitin, can you please make me a host or allow me to share screen? I guess I'll just have to call him. If you are noting down, we can continue without any further loss of time. Okay. NCF, as many of you are aware, just a second, let me call him. While I'm calling him, can you please, anyone, unmute yourself and brief about what are the basic changes in NCF? Yes. Anyone, please, can you, I'm sure you all are aware of National Curriculum Framework or the NEP.
Ma'am, you can share your screen now.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So what the National Curriculum Framework or NEP is a part thereof is doing is it is focusing mainly on holistic learning. Now you may ask me that earlier was it not focused on holistic learning? Yes, it was, but it was more of, learning and more of academic learning. Now it is shifting focus from maybe rote learning to understanding, applying more higher order thinking skills, developing skills, and catering to more of student engagement. These things are there, and it's a much better, much refined, and much evolved framework of pedagogy that we're doing. We are making sure that our students are ready to face the 21st century, because the challenges that we did not have, they are going to be tackling the kind of challenges we can't even fathom right now at this point of time. Now, you may ask that where does English teachers come in the picture here? If we are teaching skills and we are promoting holistic learning, how do English teachers help? That is why I started with the role of English teachers. We are a facilitator of emotional quotient. We are a facilitator of higher order thinking skills. We are a facilitator of, so give me a moment. I'll just, for a second, I'll stop my video. We are a facilitator for making sure that our students are able to face and handle the challenges of 21st century. But from poems and prose and articles and writing, how are we? Any issues? Did you ask anything? Because I not able to hear you. I would request the participants, if you can please, ma'am Nisha, can you please? Okay. So now, as I was talking to you, NCF is a more evolved document, and it outlines clearly what it expects teachers to do, for what they expect teachers to prepare the kids for. You can raise your hand in case you have any doubt in the middle. Now, for its vision for English language education, I have divided it in three parts. One is developing communicative competence, what you all told me. Then promoting interdisciplinary learning. I'm just reading it out and then I'll be breaking them one by one. Fostering critical thinking and creativity. Now, how do we do that with respect to students of class 6 to 8? Communicative competence, yes, you will be, when you are teaching them the formatted writing. We have we teach them to write letters, we teach them to write paragraph. Speech is not there till 6 to 8, but yes, essays, paragraphs, letters, applications. So far, they have reports, diary writing, diary entries, message writing. All these are simply communicative competence, wherein they learn how to communicate effectively. So, in various contexts, if you go through the IB curriculum or the CIE curriculum, IB is International Baccalaureate, that's a Swiss board, and CIE is Cambridge Assessment and International Examinations, which is, and as the name suggests, is headquarters at Cambridge, what we know as IGCSE. If you are talking about these two boards have a very clear demarcation. They inform the teachers that your students at the end of this year should be able to write different types of text for different audience. I'm sure as English teachers, you understand how different our language is. In the language you talk to your students, you do not talk to the same language, talk to your colleagues, or even at home, your kids in the same language. There is the varied level of being formal, very varied level of using particular words and jargon sometimes that you need to use, or even academic writing, report writing. So this different types of producing different types of text is our goal. So when you sometimes some textbook help it immensely. They help teachers with different types of a very varied types of text, wherein the teacher can teach beyond the syllabus and go beyond the syllabus to teach their kids. But then I feel the problem with us teachers is that we are not very clear of the goal of the NCF and what it means in our context, in the context of our school, what my management envisions and what NCF envisions sometimes clash, sometimes it's not clear to me. So please understand, for your own benefit, for your own professional development, please understand the common points between what you want for your kids, what your management wants for their students, and what the government wants from their citizen of the future. So, and one common point is definitely developing communicative competence. Next is interdisciplinary learning. Can anyone please tell me what you feel as interdisciplinary learning? What exactly is that interdisciplinary learning? In the chat box, please. I'd repeat my question. Yes, Ms. Mahi, including other subject, combining multiple subjects. Yes, right. Yesterday we had a very interesting discussion. Someone asked that how do we do for class 1 and 2? And we had a very, yes, right. Absolutely. Wonderful. Cross-cultural integration, absolutely. Cross-curricular, absolutely. So basically, you are teaching mathematics in English. To put it very plainly, we are teaching physics in English, we are teaching mathematics in English. We are not really, to take you a little, if I may, away from the topic in hand, this is my personal, this was my, when I was teaching. Now I'm more into admin, so don't get a chance often to teach. But my trick to be the one teacher who students listen to, who they would not say that this happens with, especially with senior teachers, students of science, they do not regard English as a necessary subject. They are like, we're going to be doctors and engineers, so we can definitely handle English. Now, there, if you want to reign supreme in front of your students and make sure that they are in the learning mode in your class, then you will have to flex. Okay. And how do you flex in front of your students is that please stay updated with whatever is happening in other subjects. Learn from, sit with your colleagues, find out what they are studying in science, find out what they're studying in mathematics. And we all have, till class 10th, we have learned all subjects. It's absolutely not difficult for us to bring in other subjects into your English. When you are teaching English, give them parallels that you can draw from science. For junior students, I was speaking about this yesterday, that what you can do is you can ask students, make groups or individually as well. You can ask students to change the language of the word sums. You can do that. For seniors, you can tell them how important it is that they do not change the language of definitions. Definitions you cannot change. It's not safe to change definitions, because if you change one word, the whole definition might change. That is why when they just need to connect it with English, connect every other subject. Hindi and any other language, connecting any other language with English is, uh, very easy. What is tricky is connecting English with science, English with mathematics, English with SST. It's not that you only teach these subjects in English. That is not integration. Integration is absolutely an amalgamation of subjects. So you will have to, make sure that they know that hello? Yeah. Make sure that they know that, okay, if my teacher knows science, teaching English, of course, I need to know science and English. If I'm studying science and I'm studying to be a doctor, I need to learn English as well. That's basically the idea. Critical thinking and creativity, you all have talked about it already. So yes, we are making them think critically, and they for classes 6 to 8, you have plenty of opportunities where you can teach them critical thinking by making them, giving them debate topics. We will come to the different ways you can foster critical thinking in the next slides. Okay. So what are the teaching practices as per, see, again, why are we doing this vis-a-vis NCF or NEP? Is earlier, this all were there, but this always suggested. Now, the way the question paper pattern is changing, the way our expectation from English teachers are changing. These are the things we will have to do. This has from maybe to must. It has the changeover, the paradigm shift has been there. So make collaborative learning a must in your classroom. Gone are the days where the teacher we used to be very, awestruck with our teachers who can walk into the classroom without a textbook and then teach us. They knew the text by heart. We still are awestruck by teachers who can memorize the whole book or a prose or a text. But with that, we let students take the lead. Collaborative learning. Anyone who does collaborative learning in the English classroom, if you can please share your experience, you can unmute yourself and talk about that, please. How do you promote collaborative learning in your classroom? If you can raise your hand, then it would be easier for me. Anyone wishes to unmute themselves and no? My question was, how do you encourage students for collaborative learning? What do you do? What do you understand by collaborative learning?
Students get.
Yes, of course. Students. How can you make
Hello, am I
students-
audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible, ma'am.
Ma'am, students doing activities, getting together in groups.
Yes. Can you give an
They
example,
get to
please?
know different kinds of things. Like
Yes, ma'am, I cannot hear you. Ma'am, I cannot hear you, please.
hello, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ma'am,
Natasha.
I was saying that, yeah, ma'am, I was saying that when we make students in different groups and ask them to do some kind of activity, where you'll get in different groups, you'll have different kinds of outcomes. So that is one way of doing a collaborative learning when same thing which has been done, but in a different way, but in different groups.
Can you give me an example where it has worked, or do you do it? See, I don't really, I will not suggest you do it just because you are being asked to. Not only you, anyone, any teacher, just because they're being asked to, they should not be doing that.
Ma'am,
They
can I
should.
add? Ma'am,
Yes,
can I add one
of
thing?
course. Can I get an example from you, ma'am?
Ma'am, can I give an example?
Yes, yes. That's what
Ma'am,
I'm saying.
ma'am, last week only I did one activity
Yes.
in which I just told students to write in 2, 3 sentences the act of bravery that they have done so far or they intend to do, in which courage they had shown some courage or they would like to do some activity in which they would do some courageous work. Okay.
Okay.
And they wrote these 2, 3 sentences and on a cutout of a leaf. Okay.
Okay.
And then each children brought this idea from home and then we pasted it on the outline of a tree. And तो मुझे लगा this is also collaborative. I have already done this activity and this is also kind of collaborative, and few children who had not brought, there were many, like 50% brought, and then we helped them and they made on a white sheet of paper, white paper only, they cut the leaf and they then added 1 or 2 sentences कि मैंने ये किया था, मैंने ये किया था, and any simple action done by them was considered as their courageous.
Okay.
So is it
Yes,
so
yes.
is it a collaborative?
Definitely, it is a collaborative learning group, ma'am.
Actually, we have this month. This month we have the value courage, HPD value per month we have, and on that value we do different activities throughout the
Okay.
month. So
Okay.
so January month is the courage HPD value that we are working on. So
Okay.
this was one of the activity, HPD value activity, which I have done with my class.
Okay. What more you can do? See, I reiterate again, why
हाँ,
do we hammer on collaborative learning?
हाँ, हाँ,
Because मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था कि इंग्लिश टीचर्स आर creating learners for life. They're preparing the kids for life. So they
हाँ,
need to learn skills, not
हाँ.
only the prose or the poetry that they have in their syllabus. So this is collaborative learning, is where they learn leadership skills. They learn to work in teams. They learn the value of yes, Mr. or Miss HKB, please.
Shobha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead, ma'am.
No, this is what this I want. That much only I want to say. Like when they
No,
shared
no.
whatever they have written.
I got a in chat box someone HKB wrote, may I? Yeah, yeah. Jyoti ma'am, yes, please, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Mainly, I take 10th standard, but this time I was given 8th standard also. May I give one example from 10th standard, ma'am?
Yes, please.
There is a chapter, Glimpses of India,
Yes.
in language and literature, and that is talking about the three different places regarding the tourism also. Bakers of Goa, Kurg, and Assam, the green plantation. So, while taking one of the topic like Cook, I have given after talking all about the tourist places, the children were there to present their work, their small information in the form of PPTs and other history of about the place and their culture, their geographical location also. And when the debate was done, some of the questions were there. Should we promote tourism in Kurk, and what is the adventure sports which can be organized in that places? Then after that, what are the advantages and disadvantages of these places? And some of the children also wrote even poetry or small story, their experience on the place. So like this, we are there to deal with the collaborating learning. And in 8th standard, I have a chapter regarding Indian cinema, 100 years of Indian cinema. So, the holiday homework for this winter break, I gave them, and I divided the era. That means black and white. Then, before that, also, when the cinema started, and now in 70s and the present age. So, children have presented, they have gathered the information about the social issues and the situations of that. So, they are
Okay,
presenting in that
thank
way
you
also.
so much for sharing this, ma'am. These
Thank
are
you.
very good activities. If I may suggest you, or
Ma'am,
others, suppose
ma'am,
when,
can I also?
yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I tried to tell them to yarn a story. So from the students, I took out 5 students outside, and I made them the volunteers. They were the volunteers, and the other from other students, I asked one question each. So the answers they had given were the points which the volunteers would use to yarn a story. So they'll speak one line
Yes,
each, and they'll weave a story. So that was the
storyline,
activity.
yes.
They'll learn collaboratively. They'll learn the storytelling. They'll learn the new words, how to use them. So everything.
Yes. Ma'am, Renu, ma'am, you wanted to share?
Hello. Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. What I understand through this collaborative learning, that the children, student, they're you are giving some kind of task to them, and together they are learning. So the same activity, like I'm teaching sixth standard also. So in sixth standard there is a chapter, a different kind of school. So
Yes.
where the honor Miss Beam, she was having a school. So where uh, including studies, they were providing they were just letting them know how to appreciate the misfortune. So what I did after explaining the chapter, so this was my task, I have explained, then I decided some of the kids that you are going to play the role, you are going to just represent the same story in front of the class to the whole class. And now I made one leader. You are going to choose your character, the same everything you have to show how you are going to be a you're going to give a character of deaf, you're going to give a character of like everything the same story you have to do. And seriously, they have presented it very nicely in front of everyone, in front of the 30 students, like including them. So it was a really very like collaborative learning. It can be in the form of, what I understand, that it can be in a form of drama also. So
Yes.
here they are getting how to express something, how they can summarize something, how they are going to play. They can make themselves as a character, and they can represent something. So
Yes.
yes, thank you,
Well,
ma'am.
yes, that's lovely, ma'am. See, there can be another activity as you all were sharing. There can be another activity which is a very good is example of collaborative learning where students get a chance to collaborate, wherein if it is about tourism, then you can ask them to prepare a brochure, travel brochure to minimize the timing, because I get this a lot from teachers that, ma'am, if we get busy into so many types of activities, then it takes more time to complete the syllabus. If we do it very cleverly, It doesn't really. It helps us, students study complete the syllabus themselves. We don't really have to worry much about it. If you are you are teaching a subject like wherein there are 2-3 places of India, excuse me. There are 2-3 places of India mentioned, and we are talking about tourism. Ask them to create a pamphlet. But how do you minimize the timing? You may have small chits or post-its wherein you have the name of the place, the important from the textbook. You can write down the places of interest, tourist places of interest from that part. Suppose if you are taking Kurg, where all the people can travel, what can be the, or you have already, you told me wonderfully that you have already worked about the challenges that that particular place is facing. So you can have it written that what are the ways if place is facing over tourism, what can be done. Over tourism is not a problem as such. Through over tourism, the jamming of roads, the scarcity of resources, hotels being fully booked. This might be a problem. The problem of littering. So have in one sticky note, these all points written. Request to the request to the tourists. Now they can divide the class in 3, 4, 5, as many teams as you want. I suggest don't go beyond 5 teams, then it creates a chaos. And they can have a treasure hunt kind of a thing. The bunches will be kept in different places in the room, and the students go around quickly. You set a timer, give them 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and they will run around and they'll find out if they have chosen Kurg, they'll find out which sticky note to pick up to show the tourist places of Kurg, the what you can buy, what you should buy, from Kurg, or what you should not do while in Kurg, the dresses you should carry, best time to visit. All these sticky notes they can collect separately. It's kind of a treasure hunt only. They can, and then you already have a travel brochure, 3-fold travel brochure ready, blank one. They can stick it quickly, and then their travel brochure is ready. If there is someone who is wonderful at drawing and coloring, they can also draw, color, decorate it, and the team to finish the task first and correctly, well, simple. And for that, they will see, once you do that, students will know. Once you have this kind of activities in the class, students will know that there is winning, losing involved. And it's generally ma'ams or sirs classes are so interesting. So when you tell them that we're going to have an activity tomorrow, but for that you'll have to come prepared, read the chapter and come ready. They will memorize the chapter if they realize that there is a lot at stake. This
Thank you, ma'am. Very nice idea. And
Thank
it
you
will
so
be
much.
great help also to learn. Children will be learning with great interest.
Yes, they do. They
I
do.
will try in other chapters also. I'll think about this also.
Yes, we can do
Thank
that
you, ma'am.
yesterday. You're welcome, ma'am. Yesterday we are discussing similar activity for class 1 and 2, wherein you color code a chart paper, red, blue. We were talking about EVS though, how to integrate EVS and English, and that is helping. See, when you are into collaborative learning or any kind of learning, sometimes lying to help them helps. Okay, it may come as a shocker. I'm asking you to lie, but lying as in, the way we do it, we teachers, I'm sure many of you do that as well. When they are even close to the answer, you are actually supplying the answer to them. You are telling them the whole thing, you are telling them, but keep praising them. The child who doesn't speak in class, if they start speaking, if they raise their hand, yes, give them a chance. Then when they start that, where did she go in the evening? She went in the evening for a walk. That is your answer. I'm talking generally. The child starts, you say, yes, you are right. Let's go ahead. She went, and the child will repeat, she went to the garden. Or, yes. Even if she says the garden, you will say, yes, you are right. She went for a walk. The child will immediately correct herself and say that she went for a walk. Entire answer you have supplied, but it does not hurt to keep praising them, and in the end make the child feel like it is her answer and she has answered. Next time you will see the change in the confidence of this works only with the children who are quiet, who are introvert, who do not participate in class discussions much. They would start participating, and slowly there's on the net, there's a beautiful experiment going on. If okay, I'll take 2 minutes to explain it. There is this a few people who are blindfolded, okay, a cloth on their eyes, and they are blindfolded, and they were asked to hit the this thing hit the they have been given a basketball, and they were asked to dunk the ball. That's it. That's their task. Among the group there are 5 players of basketball who regularly play basketball, and 5 who are absolutely novice. Okay. Now, what happens is, thank you, Dipti ma'am. What happens is, because they're blindfolded, they cannot see if they have been able to pass the ball through the ring at all. When the ones who are not good, have never played basketball, have a very bad aim, they are dunking, everyone cheers them. Oh, yay! Wow, you said you cannot play, but you have done it so well. First hit, and you are able to dunk. By the count, by the time he hits 10, from 5th onwards, invariably that person is able to dunk the ball. You will find that experiment in the net anyway. Okay, for the want of time, I cannot share that video with you right now. And it is repeated for every 5 player who have never played basketball in their lives. Now coming to the players of basketball, they throw the ball, of course they dunk it, and everyone is, oh, missed it. By 6th, they start failing. Not a single ball is dunking. This is the power of appreciation. Okay. Even if you appreciate wrongly, it will see. Ultimately, what happens that we teachers, we can come into a classroom, walk into a classroom, deliver our lecture, and go home. When students start performing, that is our yard. No matter how half-mindedly we started the lesson, that happens sometimes. Okay, there are so much in our minds. But when we see the list of performers performing well, and me, because my performance depends on their result. So when they start performing good, and the principal or the coordinator calls me and asks me that, what are you doing with these kids? They all are doing so well suddenly. That is where you will get, much more than your salary can provide you. These are the benefits of, collaborative learning, or your creative. These are also creative expressions. Okay. Technology integration is using, if I have any tech-savvy people here, you can make out that this PPT, I have used technology to make this PPT. And I'll be honest, to create it, the first draft of it, it took me about 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds to create this entire PPT. Then I made changes. Then I had planned a couple of videos also, but that's a different thing. This will, if I go through the whole thing, it'll take at least 2-3 hours, maybe some other time. But then this is what the wonders of technology is. Yesterday, I was sharing that initially I felt a little guilty using AI. That I am not doing my job, the computer is doing my job. Now I know that computer is not doing my job, it cannot. Human intelligence, HI, is always much more than powerful than AI. So it is not doing my job, it is just helping me do my job. And if I cannot make the computer my slave, then I am out of race. If I cannot develop myself, if I cannot learn, if I cannot, if you all remember Nokia, that was a giant in mobile manufacturing. Now you don't hear about them simply because they got a little late in catching up with the other companies. When everyone else was evolving, updating themselves, Nokia stuck to the old ways. Same thing is going to happen to all human beings. If we do not update ourselves, if you go to, you will see that all the good doctors who have a name as good doctors or the good lawyers, they keep studying. They keep going to attending workshops. They keep updating themselves, studying a lot. You can never stay complacent that, okay, I have been teaching from 9-10 years now. I have all the resources. I have all the questions. I know the kind of questions CBS is going to ask. So I am happy and I'm satiated and I don't have to work anymore. It doesn't work. You will have to keep updating yourselves. And it's a wonderful platform, this internet and technology that's providing you. Make use of it. There are so many courses free of cost you can do to update yourself. Coming back to this is formative assessment. Again, this is one thing. This is not part of NCF, of course, but I would request everyone that when you take formative assessments, as in PT, periodic tests, or any kind of periodic test, or peer reviews. Peer reviews is very easy. When you are doing a flipped classroom, suppose one chapter, you are a clever teacher, you are not in a mood to teach today. But you cannot go to the classroom and tell them that I'm not in a mood to teach today. So you can simply start the chapter, give them 5 minutes to read, and then one paragraph, one student, and that the student will explain the whatever they have studied. If they go wrong, you can correct them. If you have more time, or if you have decided that tomorrow students will be taking the class and they will be teaching, give one paragraph, ask them to come prepared, and they can take over. Now, don't leave it at that. What does peer review mean? Have a very small, they can write in a chat or they can write in their notebooks. 2 stars and we wish are a very widely used tool, wherein one student comes and teaches a paragraph only, and all others give him 2 stars. 2 good things, write that 2 very good things that he has or she has done. Like, I loved the way he started the paragraph, or I loved the way, loved the examples that she has given, or I enjoyed his diction, his phonetics, or his pronunciation so much. Any 2 good points and one wish. This is where he could have improved. Why are we doing this? Are we really doing this for peer review? Not really. We are doing this to get your students involved in learning. पूरा काम टीचर्स करेंगे ये नहीं चलेगा. You cannot, you as students cannot sit and watch. You have to get involved. You have to get engaged. This is how you will get engaged. Okay, you will make students work. This is how. So when they are doing a review, they are thinking, they are listening, they are very attentive when their friends are teaching them. And they'll also write that this information was wrong that my friend said. It could have been better that if he could say it like this or something like that. Okay, so make students work as well in whatever they're doing. Make them involved. We have talked about creative expressions. Now, assessments. How so far I talked about how you will teach. Now I'll move on to how you will be testing them. NCF clearly tells that now this summative test or written tests should not be only method of testing your students. This is for all other subjects as well, but I will be speaking with respect to English only. Now, summative test wherein students are required to write long answers, and from there the shift is to more holistic. Holistic means you do not test their writing abilities only, or whether they are able to analyze a situation only. You are working towards developing their higher order thinking skills, their collaborative skills. So, and how do you do that? For their collaborative skills, you will have to take class, you will have to make sure that your class is involved in collaborative learning. They are doing group learning. They are, the teacher comes into the class and quickly says that, okay, fine, regroup. If you are in the habit of regrouping them, they know what regroup means. Quickly, they sit in a group of five each, and then regroup and underline the difficult words. They study together. The teacher is just roaming around. They will read the chapter, they will underline the difficult words, and then they will teach each other the meanings. Then they can confirm from the teachers. You can mark them that way. If you have a rubric in hand, and that reminds me of one more pointer. If always, not only English teachers, everyone, when you are taking an assessment, kindly tell the students what they are expected to do. Today, you saw us traveling. We were recruiting for our school. And first thing I did is I told the candidates, this is how you will be marked on. Please do that with your students. When you are taking a test, tell them this is how you will be marked. Like for formatted writing, if you are asking them to write an essay or a debate, or having a debate in the class, this is your debate topic. You will be marked on the logical presentation of fact, the research work, your confidence, your presentation, and how well you are behaving. These are the 5 parameters you will be marked on. Now start the debate. Always tell them what is expected of them. When you give them homework to do, tell them that be concise or be very elaborate with your answer. This is the word limit you have got. It can be 30 words, it can be 120 words, but please tell them for every single question, tell them that this is what is expected of you. Okay, it's better that you also give them guidelines, keywords. Then you will not have to write the answers for them. They'll be able to write it themselves. Okay, trust me, even the weakest of students will be able to do it. So performance, this is what performance, project basis, assessment, presentations, role plays, everything would be evaluated. But my request would be kindly give them the rubrics, but that this is how you will be judged. When we do in the school, when we are going for role plays, there are, mono acting, sometimes workshops, sometimes inter-house quiz on mono acting. There we tell them in the beginning, the rubric that we'll be giving to the judges, we put it on the notice board. You are invited for mono acting, you will be judged on this parameters. Okay, so that students know what is expected of them. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Later on, you telling them, students won't remember. They're kids after all. They won't be able to remember why they did not get full marks in this particular question. Continuous assessment is this, like maybe you can have an exit task after every use technology, absolutely exhaustively. You can use Miro. Earlier it was Jamboard, now it is Miro. You can use Miro, you can use quizzes, you can use Kahoot. There are plenty of activities in some textbook. I was going through your textbooks and I saw that they also very wonderfully they have mentioned some activities at the end of every chapter. So you can go ahead, get those activities done. But basically, continuous assessment is necessary, which is also prescribed by NCF. This is back to interdisciplinary learning, is integrating English with other subjects. I told you about science and math. This is how you can do it further is you can, English is taken as a backbone, and then all the other subjects are arranged around it. So it is, you will find that we have this, we have this blockage that first students think that she's an English teacher, so she's not good with science. Okay, they forget that we all studied science and mathematics till class 10th minimum. Okay, sometimes even beyond that. There are many teachers who have got a MSc and then an MA in English. So they are teaching English, but their science knowledge is solid. Sometimes there are teachers whose science knowledge is solid without getting any degree. It's just all about interest, right? And languages are such that they bind all other subjects already. You just have to promote it. You have to consciously make your students understand that when you are asking a question about science, they should not look for an answer from the English background. If you are asking them, yesterday I took this example of pseudopodia. In senior classes, if you, in an English class, if you go and ask them that, you know, have you heard of this word pseudo, or pseudo means false? So can you remember any other word? They will not be able to tell you offhand. That needs a lot of probing because they are not able to come out of English zone. They're thinking this is English class. So what's the point talking about pseudopodia here? And trust me, it happens with most brilliant of senior students. Because this multidisciplinary approach, we don't teach them. Content and language integrated learning is the same thing. It's a pedagogical approach wherein English is a medium, which we are doing already. And project-based learning is, you give them a real world context. through project-based learning. If they give them a topic, for best thing is if your school doesn't already give them the suggested project-based learning tasks that come from CBSE, you can simply ask them to, if they are going for a summer vacation, in the summer holiday homework, you can ask them to simply write their experience, whatever. Every day they should log in. They can log in through the internet. They can video log in, simply make a video, and that's okay. No one said that English is all about writing only. They can speak and they can say that these kids are very good with reels. They make reels all the time. But the moment you talk about reels in the English class, they don't understand what you are talking about. That's simply because, again, interdisciplinary learning might be lacking there. So project does never mean that they have to write it and draw photographs and paste it on the notebook. That only is not project. Project can be anything. They make a science project, and when they present it in English, you should get the marks for English presentation rather than every subject giving a different new project. Okay, these challenges and opportunities will remain there. Teacher training, this kind of opportunities are wonderful, wherein companies or organizations are chipping in to make sure that teachers are trained, they get a chance for professional development. So that is an opportunity. Resource availability is again an opportunity. I will not say this is a challenge at all in this time of internet boom. They are absolutely, there is nothing that is not available. You don't have to pay a penny. For everything, there is a free, everything that you may need to pay for getting that resource, find out there will be another way to get it for free. Okay. Sometimes some websites will not tell you overtly, but when you get in touch with them, contact them that I want to, what I want to write for your website. You anyways are making worksheets. Okay. Mr. Jatin, can you please send the attendance link? Mr. Jatin, can you please send the attendance link? So, yeah. Here. Your workshop feedback is in the chat box. Please check, everyone. Resource availability, this is one small trick that when you want to, many of the websites, they work like teachers pay teachers, wherein you want to buy the paid version, but you really don't want to shell out any money. So whatever worksheets you are preparing, prepare them. Don't take the school's one because that would be copyrighted. You prepare your own worksheets and upload in the website or send it to them. Then they will in fact, they will give you a free version of, paid version of their website free of cost to you, and then they'll also pay if your work is good. Many of the websites do that. You can find that out and get all the resources and professional development opportunity. This I do not consider as a challenge at all. And collaborative effort is, if we want NCF not to be a failure like earlier projects of government, and it has a huge potential to be successful, NCF, okay? So, but it needs collaboration among all of us. For educators, when we have workshops, we may, share connections, we may talk to each other, we may form groups and That is why even from the CBSE or the different organizations are into collaboration now. There are much more events or teachers trainings and principals meets happening than we have never heard of this earlier. 10 years back, we never heard of so many, like doctors go in conferences, teachers are going on conferences equally frequently, either online or offline. So yes, collaborative effort have increased, but it still remains some challenges there. Okay. So this is the impact on English language learners. We have talked about this already. Confidence and fluency, critical thinking and problem solving skills. We have already, I've given you examples wherein we spoke about this at length. And these are your key takeaways and next steps is please pay attention to holistic learning. Holistic learning means empowering your students so that their communicative competence improves, critical thinking improves, creativity, interdisciplinary connections, and another one from me is they are more mindful of their actions when they throw plastic away, or when they I feel very happy when my students come and tell me that they have stopped, or parents sometimes of younger students, parents sometimes come and tell us that, my son or daughter did not allow us to put up balloons during their birthday celebration. This is being mindful. This is also a part of holistic learning. You are preparing a well-rounded, wholesome human being. Okay, balloons, because they are not biodegradable, they take a long time to get degraded. If birds ingest those balloons, cows, dogs, they ingest those balloons with the food. Okay, and it is the seemingly very happy little thing is a big environmental hazard. So I feel very happy when the parents of little kids come and tell me that, ma'am, what have you taught them? They are not ready to allow us to put up balloons. Balloon ne kya kiya hai? But this is what we are doing. This is how we are creating wholesome human beings. Okay. Active engagement, as we talked about, role plays, collaborative learning, or it's not the teacher's job to come and teach and just leave. Okay, they need to be engaged. Okay. Continuous improvement that we talked about, formative assessment and continuous assessment. Collaborative approach, I already talked to you about. If you have any doubts, anything you want to ask, the forum is open for you. Any questions? Okay, then all the best to.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful session. Thank you to all the participants who were present here.
You have been a
Thank you,
very
sir.
wonderful group,
Yes.
very active, participative.
Yes, indeed, ma'am. Yes. So a lot of thank you messages to you, ma'am. Thank you once again for all your time, efforts, and energy. Thank you. With this, we will end the webinar and come back again with another session in this series tomorrow. Thank you.
Please click on the feedback link before
Yeah.
we close the session.
Yeah. Kindly give your valuable feedback by clicking on this link. And for the certificates, all those who have registered, they will get the certificates on your mail ID. Workshop feedback has already been shared. Certificates you will receive in your mail ID. All right, then. Thank you. With this, we will